How does that old saying go? Date the body, marry the lens. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Camera bodies come and go, but you find lenses that are special, that you like, that represent your own unique way of seeing things, you're gonna wanna hang on to those. Well, in this episode, I am going to share with you my recent experiences with 3 very strange, very unique lenses. This is not a review per se, so don't get your panties all in a bunch if I'm not shooting charts and getting really deep into the specs. We'll talk about what I think, but this is more anecdotal. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Check these out. I can barely fit them in 2 hands. First up is the Suré Astra series T1.8 133x 50mm full frame anamorphic lens. Dude, that is a darn mouthful. Check this bad boy out. Before we get into this, Suré sent me this lens to review or to try out and to talk about on my YouTube channel, okay? They didn't give me any money. They didn't really ask for much. There will be a link if you want to buy one later, and I think like a little bit of a discount or something. There's a coupon code that'll be in the description. But other than that, they haven't seen this video, and my thoughts are my own, and that's what this is all about. A lot of you may be aware that Suré is, pumping out these mirrorless mount autofocus anamorphic lenses. And I previously on the channel, I had talked about, shown video from, did a video on one of the Micro Four Thirds autofocus anamorphic lenses. And then recently, they also sent me a 35mm 1.4 just prime lens, which is on the camera right now. It's kind of my standard like YouTube, let's talk to the camera lens, because it's really great. It's fairly, mid-range wide. Got a pro mist filter on it. That's the lens that's always doing my talking heads from now on. And now they sent me this 50mm anamorphic 133, and I was pretty stoked about that. I am an aficionado of anamorphic lenses. I love me some anamorphic lenses, and having anamorphic autofocus seems pretty cool. So I was really stoked to try this out, really keen to see how it performed, what it was like out in the wild. It's a weird lens, guys. It's a really weird lens. Let's go through the specs. I put them on my phone here. It's a T1.8 to 22 aperture. That's pretty darn fast for an anamorphic lens. You can get it in L mount. This is an L mount. You can also get it in a Z mount or an E mount. So Nikon or Sony, 1 feet 6 inches minimum focus distance. That's pretty groovy. That's like this or something. So it might not be a crazy wide anamorphic, but you can focus pretty close with this, and I think that's awesome. I actually think that's one of the main, best, coolest features about this lens. What else do we have here? 67mm filter thread. It's 5.1 inches long. It weighs 1.4 pounds. If you go buy it from Suré, it's $849. There will be a link below, as I said. It's a cine lens, so it's geared, and you can click or de-click it. Okay, it's de-clicked. Now let's click it. Whoop, pretty cool. It's got autofocus, manual focus, selector switch, so you can manually focus or you put it in auto. You can lock the iris if you want, and I think, yeah, there is an A setting here at the end, so if you want to just control the iris with your camera, with the little dial on your camera, you can do that. Other than that, pretty darn straightforward. Feels very solid in the hand. What do I think of this? Again, I do love anamorphic lenses. I'm using them all the time. I use these all the time on the channel, and this is a 50mm, but look, this thing is huge. Yeah, much bigger, but this is like a pro level Atlas anamorphic lens, and it costs like 15 times what the Suré costs, more than that actually, close to 20 times. This is a big boy cine lens, and used in big Hollywood films like Academy Award winner Anora and things like that. I don't own this, by the way. It's way out of my price range, but I do have possession of it for a while. You see in the B-roll and stuff on my channel, I do a lot of anamorphic B-roll, and I love anamorphic lenses, just being a cine guy. The cool thing about anamorphic lenses, you know, what are the characteristics of an anamorphic lens? They basically take an image and they squeeze it into the frame, so you get this weird kind of everything looks squeezed and skinny, makes you look skinnier. And then in post, you stretch the image out. This is a 133, so you'll stretch it 33%. The Orion that I just showed you is a 2x, so you would double the distance of stretching it out. What are the characteristics? Oval bokeh in the background, you'll see that in Hollywood films. Horizontal streaks, classically kind of these blue streaks and stuff. Now you can get gray streaks or silver streaks or amber streaks, or different lenses from different companies have different kind of streak characteristics or coatings on their lenses. So the thing is, you also get like a lot of distortion on the edges of the frame and stuff in your classic anamorphic lenses. They're imperfect. They're imperfect, right? What do I always say here? Perfection is boring. Okay, so that's typically why cinematographers or filmmakers will choose anamorphic lenses, because of the character, because of the vibe, the special sauce. They're not perfect, they're artistic, and that's part of the appeal. This guy is remarkably devoid of character. I don't really think that's a bad thing. And I've arrived at this of like, first I'm like, oh, this is pretty vanilla. But now think about it. This is a 133 squeeze, okay? So by the time you stretch it out, it's not super wide. There's not like a lot of weird distortion and stuff in the end. It does have oval bokeh characteristics. It does have horizontal streaks. But other than that, it's pretty vanilla. I shoot with Lumix cameras, so they shoot in open gate, and I'm pretty much shooting everything in open gate. This is a 16:9 video that I'm gonna export, but I'm shooting it in open gate because it just gives me a little room in post, and I like pretty much shoot everything in open gate. You shoot a 133 in open gate, by the time you stretch it out, it's just like 16:9 basically, so you don't really get this crazy widescreen anamorphic look. If you shoot in 16:9, like say you have a Sony camera or a Nikon hybrid camera or something that shoots with a 16:9 crop on the sensor, you stretch that out 133, now you have a more cinematic widescreen look without cropping the top and bottom. So you retain your vertical resolution. That's the advantage of the anamorphic. You get the widescreen without having to chop the top and the bottom. I don't have any complaints about the autofocus in this lens at all. It worked amazing. Pretty cool to have autofocus in an anamorphic lens, even if it's only a 133. I feel like if you're shooting Sony or you're shooting Nikon or Canon, this doesn't come in RF, but if you're shooting one of those cameras that maybe is 16:9 natively, it's probably a better option. Of course, I shot some 16:9 17:9 video on the Lumix and used this lens, and it gave it a much more, you know, widescreen CinemaScope type look. So I think it's cool what Suré's doing. They are pumping out all kinds of cool lenses lately. Like it seems like every month there's like something new they got coming out, and they're not just cheap Chinese lenses. They like have some engineering. The quality is very high. I'm stoked for what Suré's doing, and I always look forward to seeing what they're doing in the future. And that's not me trying to get them to send me more lenses. I don't really care, and truthfully, I don't do reviews, and it takes me a long time to find the space to get these out. So that's what I think. Those are my initial thoughts on the Astra full frame 133 anamorphic lenses. Pretty cool. There's a link below if you want to buy it, and a coupon code. If this is your vibe, go for it. Next, we're going to talk about something very strange. This little guy, and actually it's not so little, it's a chunky lens, but it's very light. This is the Irwin Workshop Simple 90. This is a 90mm lens. This thing is made by filmmaker Tim Irwin. This is a dude that, so where this came from is I actually follow Tim on the Instagram, have for a long time, because I heard about these lenses and I was really curious about them. Started following Tim because here's a dude that is basically printing out these lenses at home. I think he gets the glass somewhere, and then he prints out, he designed this lens body and he prints them out and he sells them. And so I started following him on the Instagram because I was intrigued by that and never really interacted with the dude. And then a few months ago, he just dropped into my DMs and was like, hey Ben, you want to try out one of my lenses? And I'm like, yes, Tim Irwin. Yes, I do want to try out one of your lenses. How awesome is that? So he sent this over and I've been walking around the neighborhood in the morning and using this on my walks and using it in a variety of settings. I'll put the link below to Tim's website if you want to check these out and buy one. By the way, he didn't ask me to do that. He didn't ask me to review this. He just said, hey, you want to try this? It's on me, have at it. So I got nothing in this. Haven't talked to Tim since he sent the lens. He doesn't even know I'm making this. He didn't ask me to make a video. I'm just talking about it because I think it's cool. They are around $100 if you just get them with the M42 screw mount, and you can also order it with an adapter for various types of lenses, and it's like $119, I think. Super inexpensive. I actually have some M42 adapters, and you can get these for pretty much any modern lens mount. So whatever kind of camera you have, you can get an adapter and use this lens. That's pretty cool. It's 90 millimeters. Does it have an aperture? Here's how the aperture works. It's got these little slides you put in. There's 3 of them. So this is an F, I should look at my notes, I see what they are exactly so I don't screw this up because Tim worked so hard at it. Okay, the big one that I have in here is F2.8, there's an F5.6 and also an F11. Spoiler alert, I didn't even try the other ones. I only shot in the F2.8 because it's like wide open or die, right? Here's some shots. So you will notice right away, right, that crazy out of focus distortion all around at the edges of the frame. How freaking cool is that? Now in the center though, it's tack sharp. It's sharp as can be. This thing is very, very lightweight. I don't even know if you can put a filter on it. It does look threaded. It's pretty hefty size. I think Tim is a filmmaker, and it says on his website that he has started making these with focus gears. It's got a super long focus throw. So if you go from minimum focus, which is quite close, all the way out to the end, it's quite a turn. And like walking around, I'll be shooting a lot of close shots of like flowers and leaves and things. I love doing that anyways. And then you see a bird or something, and it's like all the way to the end. You know, this is very simple. I think there's only 2 elements in there, and he made these himself and prints them out at home. So how awesome is that, you guys? I just think, look, if you're a photographer or a filmmaker, whoever you are watching this channel, I think you know by now, my theory is like support other artists, right? You want people to support you. You want people to help you make a living. Well, you gotta spread the love too. And I'm such a big fan of Tim going out of his way and doing this. Not for me, I just mean in general, sitting down and trying to figure out how to make a DIY lens. Like, how badass is that? I've always thought about making lenses. I think we all have, but it just seems like kind of impossible, like the engineering challenge of it. Well, this dude freaking went and did it, and I think the results are super cool. I'm stoked to have this. I use it a lot walking around. It's one of my favorite walk around lenses now. I'm just like, let's just see what weird stuff I can do. I kind of walk the same route every morning, and now I have this little tool to just, everything I see, it looks fresh through this lens. If you're intrigued by this, I highly recommend check out Tim's site at the link below. Pick one of these up. It's $120 with the mount. Like, if you can't afford that, you know, just skip your Starbucks for a month or something, and that's gonna pay for this. Thanks, Tim. Super dope. Can't wait to see what you do in the future. And last but not least is this guy. This is the Laowa T2.9 8 to 15 millimeter full frame cine zoom lens. This thing is incredible. I've had this in my possession now for, shoot, a couple months, 2.5 months or something. I am friendly with the folks at Laowa, and I had a specific gig coming up where I was going to go shoot this music festival. There's a full video coming about that, by the way. I was going to go shoot the Warped Tour in Florida, and I thought, Warped Tour, kind of a punk rock festival. I think I need a fisheye, and I knew about this lens, so I reached out to Laowa and said, hey, can I borrow one of your fisheye zooms? And they happily obliged, and they haven't asked for it back yet. And I'm not in a hurry to send it back. I guess I will whenever they ask for it, but I know I don't get to keep it because these things are not inexpensive. But I'm having so much fun with this lens. It's crazy. This is the Cine version. It's quite chunky. Let me read you the specs. It's T2.9 to 22. It comes in PL mount, E mount, RF mount, Z mount, X mount, and L mount. So this is the PL mount. It's 2.5 inches long and it weighs 1.3 pounds, $1,399. So yeah, PL mount, and I have, this is a PL to L mount adapter, so this goes on the lens. This is from Sigma, this adapter, and it's honestly one of the most solid. Sigma makes Cine lenses too, and so this is a super solid lens mount. Whoop, goes on like that. Ka-chunk. Look at that sucker. How cool is that? And by the way, I don't have any links to this thing. I'll put Laowa's website down below. They didn't ask me to make this. That wasn't part of the deal. I just was like, hey, can I borrow this for the shoot that I have? And that's the extent of our relationship. So no links, no discounts, nothing like that. They don't even know I'm making this video. I just like it so much that I want to talk about it. It's so cool, especially at the widest, like 8mm. Super dope. They also make this in a photo version, I think, which is probably a lot lighter. And I don't know that I personally really need the Cine version here. I kind of wouldn't mind just having the L mount photo version because I'm sure it's a lot lighter. I'm kind of pissed off at myself that I haven't gone out and done some time lapses with this guy because I think that would be really cool, especially some star lapses or like some long exposure like light streaks. I actually need to go do that tonight. I'm pissed off at myself that I didn't do that for this video, right? Having a super cool specialized tool like this, super fun. I don't want to give it up. It's got this really chunky lens hood. Big old rear element here. I've shot a lot of video with this thing. I've shot a lot of bands. I've taken it to several live shows, and I've used it. You will see it again in the future. I'm doing another lens video coming up, and I use this for my B-roll just because I thought, I'm gonna do a Helios video and I'll use this guy for my walking around shots. Pretty cool, super fun. Still playing with this thing all the time. I'd be happy to have one of these in my bag anytime. So that's it, y'all. Not super technical reviews or anything, but 3 lenses that I've been trying that I think are a lot of fun. I'm always just willing to try any new lens because you just never know. You never know. And of course I have my favorites. I have my focal lengths that I like. I really like 35. I actually really like walking around with an 85. I just love a 85mm focal length. I guess that's why I like that 90 so much. You know, just try different lenses, try weird lenses, buy older, cheap, inexpensive, imperfect lenses, adapt them to your modern digital cameras. You never know like what that might unlock inside of you creatively. All of these lenses have challenged me to try and stretch beyond my normal way of thinking, and that's just good for you as an artist. So get out there, try and find unique tools, unique paint brushes. You don't have to use them permanently, but it's fun to try things. You can rent stuff from your local camera shop. You can rent stuff online. You can buy stuff used and sell it later. Like, that's what it's all about, right? That's the fun part of all this. Thanks for watching, folks. Get out there and make something. We'll see you again real soon.